night. You look happy to meet me. This is My Wife Hates Musicals, the only way I could get my wife to watch The Sound of Music. Alright, so 1965, our newest musical so far.
Yeah? Oh yeah, it is.
Yep. And this one, you really can't go wrong. This is The Sound of Music. You guys all know this one. Although, ironically, Elle had never seen it before.
I did not know this one.
Yep, this is, adjusted for inflation, by far the most successful movie musical ever released. You looked it up, you said it was, what, the fifth?
Oh, I can double check the actual.
Adjusted for inflation, I believe it is the fifth highest grossing movie of all time after Star Wars, Avatar, Avengers Endgame, and Gone with the Wind.
Okay. Gone with the Wind, adjusted for inflation, is still number one. So it's Gone with the Wind, Avatar, Titanic, Star Wars, Avengers Endgame, and The Sound of Music.
Yeah. So this one's possibly one of the most famous movie musicals ever released, starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, directed by Robert Weiss.
Wow. Just to add, we were talking about, like, if The Sound of Music had been released in 2023, it would have made $2,984,000,000, almost $3 billion in today's money is how much money it made back then, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was an extremely successful. It was the number one in theaters for, I believe, 43 weeks. So yeah, starring Julie Andrews, Christopher Plummer, and directed by Robert Weiss, who is also probably the most storied director that we've worked with so far. He also went on to produce, West Side Story.
Oh yeah, he also directed West Side Story.
Yes.
Which I feel like I've seen, but I don't remember very well. I remember the dance number.
I mean, we could watch it, but it really doesn't fall into the
first framework of our first season plans. Yeah.
Yeah. This one really took the movie musical to a new level as far as production costs and the level of stars that they were able to get. Talent of those stars. It was a solidly produced movie. There's really very, very few weak spots in this. This is very much a tour de force from both the producers of the movie and from Rodgers and Hammerstein as well. It opens up. I guess we can jump right into it.
I was very surprised that it opens with the beginning. Like,
yeah.
There's the overture comes kind of after the first music number, which
it's a very brief overture too. It's really just to have the title card.
My first thoughts, the first couple of shots are like these big, huge, scenic views.
They're helicopter shots
of Austria and the Alps, and I was just like, this is a hell of an opening shot. And my thoughts were, okay, is this like the Alps, the musical? Since every musical we've watched thus far tends to be this geographic region, the musical, for some reason.
And you know what, baby? This is Austria the musical.
Yeah.
Ironically, the people in Austria
do not
like this musical.
Yeah, I think Austria and Germany are the only two countries it did not perform well in, which is ironic for Austria the musical.
Yeah, but it is a great story. It's based on a true story, loosely, very loosely. The story of Georg and Maria von Trapp, who got married in the late 20s in Austria, and were together for 10 years before they did eventually flee Austria with their group of singing children.
The Von Trapp family singers. And also, you're giving up the game. We haven't even had the first number yet. You're telling me what happens. This is a musical based on a movie, based on a book, based on a real story.
Yet again, the Ouroboros of inspiration that goes into these musicals.
Yeah. Okay. And I made one more comment. And this, like, the opening scenes that we have, or they're like clearly helicopter shots. There was like several Dutch angles, and it was giving me like Battlefielder set flashbacks.
I mean, I really do genuinely think that this is before they really got like the gyroscopic gimbal technology on helicopters.
Yeah, it's definitely a little like you might have gotten if you're a delicate person of constitution, you might have gotten a little nauseous looking at some of those first shots. But that's a nitpick, if anything. The shots are beautiful. Oh,
the cinematography in general in this movie is very intentional. Some of the odd choices that were in there, I did some research on, and there's reasons behind them, and they're interesting.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so
we
open up with The Sound of Music.
Roll credits.
The classic, the hills are alive with the sound of music. With songs that... Yep. You're doing good anytime you get to hear a song that was in Moulin Rouge. So...
Yeah, I forgot that was in Emotion.
Yep. But yeah, so you get this gorgeous helicopter shot of all the Alps, and it opens up. Like, the first thing you hear in the musical is The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music. You get the classic iconic shot of Julie Andrews just spinning around in a circle on a mountain, which, by the way, she said even though she looked super happy and awesome and great in it, she was freezing her tits off the entire time.
That makes sense.
And the problem that they really had was the helicopters that had the cameras on them kept getting so close that they would knock her over.
Oh, no! Oh, my God. You can't tell, though, in the finished product. That's really a testament to her ability to act through all that, because that's crazy.
Yeah, definitely no sound stages on this one. These are all filmed on location. They shot for 11 weeks in Salzburg. And so you see her dancing around on the thing, she sings the Sound of Music, and then you start to hear church bells. And she's like, shit!
God damn it, let me grab my goofy hat.
Yeah, she's not a big fan of the goofy hat. She is. And so you move into the Abbey where you hear them singing.
It's an Abbey, yeah.
I think it's an Abbey, yeah.
Yeah. What's the thing that nuns live at? It's not
a nunnery.
Is it a nunnery?
That's one convent?
There's the one convent. I was like, get thee to a nunnery. That's what she does.
So you see all the nuns walking in and they're singing Dixit Dominus, I believe.
Which I asked you to look up what it was, because I was like, there's no way Rodgers and Hammerstein wrote this.
And then, of course, you see the one nun with the fancy gloves. I said that those obviously give +5 wisdom.
You stole that line from me!
I did! And she's got a fancy, she's obviously a cleric. She's even got the religious symbol.
Yeah, she's got her holy symbol for casting. Yes.
And so you get to see the nuns go through their whole thing, and then they walk out, and you never see Maria. And apparently neither did the nuns.
Where the fuck is Maria? Like, what's the number? It's just called Maria,
It's just called Maria.
Right? Yeah.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
It's basically, Maria is a manic pixie dream nun.
Yeah, she's the OG manic pixie dream girl.
Or, and it's so funny, as they describe Maria, and, her lack of attention and inability to get anywhere on time, I slowly discovered that Maria might not be neurotypical.
Maria just has ADHD. It's fine,
I was like, guys, how do you solve a problem like Maria? It's called Adderall.
It's called Adderall,
Yeah, and it's just, you guys haven't figured that part out yet. Unfortunately, the Nazis know about it.
And so, of course, you get the classic dichotomy here of the wise Mother Abbess who is trying to weigh the good decision, and then you have the nun who likes Maria as the good angel, and you have the head of novices who is a giant cunt.
I described her as, I said, shut it, Karen, is what I wrote. I will say it did not take me long to discover the one problem I have with this movie that did bother me the entire movie.
Yeah, speaking of non-neurotypicality.
They're not German at all.
You're right, they're Austrian.
Or Austrian, I'm so sorry. Not a single person ever has an accent other than a British accent the entire movie, except
you wanted them to all talk like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Except for Rolf, who has an American accent. And it bothers me because it's in fucking Austria.
Yeah, she wanted all the people to go around talking like Arnold.
I would have been happy with that. I would have, because,
all of them overdubbed. The hills are alive with the sound of music.
I would actually...
With songs they have sung For 1,000 years.
That would be weird. You sound like the Simpsons version of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Because I'm a voice actor.
But, like, every musical we've watched so far, they at least made an attempt, right?
Even if it was a terrible one.
But no, not this one. They're like, nope, we're just going to completely bypass it entirely and do British accents.
I think I'd rather have them not do it at all than do it badly.
That's fair.
That comes from years of working in community theater where I have to teach people how to do accents and it's really annoying.
Yeah, but it's Julie fucking Andrews.
Well, they asked her not to. It's a directorial choice, not an actor's choice.
Well, I'm sure she could have done a German accent.
So also, this movie passes the Bechdel test with the first lines because it's a bunch of nuns talking about Maria.
Yep. Instant Bechdel pass. First one.
And you get your first real good acting moment from Andrews, to me, when she runs into the thing and throws her hat on the ground, goes to wash her hands, looks up and sees the nuns and is like,
oh, fuck.
She's just like, and then runs off again.
She's like, fuck, I'm late. God damn it. I did have one little nitpick about the first musical number. It seemed like the nuns were going to go into a true round.
It's a second.
Oh, you're right. Not first nitpick, second musical number. It seems like it's leading towards the nuns going into a round as they're singing about their different thoughts about Maria, and I think that would have been really lovely if they'd actually done that, because, like, one nun holds a note out a long time, and no one of the nun is singing, and I'm like, oh, when does the round start? And it never does. And that was, like, my one kind of... It stuck out to me as I think they made the choice to not put a round there when they could have, and I think it would have... Because they do it later in other musical numbers, they'll have true rounds going, but they decided not to in that one.
So... they have a good long talk about what the hell they're going to do about this crazy-ass nun they have. So eventually, the Mother Superior calls Maria into her office, and they talk, and she decides that Maria needs to have some time outside of the Abbey to figure out if this is really what she wants to do or not. And so she gets sent to the Von Trapp family.
Oh, we forgot a really great acting choice that happened in that scene. I made note of it because... I thought 7 children, oh my god, and that's literally exactly what she's like, 7 children? That's what she says when the nun tells her she's going to be taking care of 7 kids. And I'm like, that is the only logical response to that statement. So. Yeah,
so she's going to go to the Von Trapp household. Apparently they've gone through 12 governesses in 3 months, and they just can't get anybody to stay, and there's a really cold father there. And if this is sounding familiar to you, then you might be thinking of the plot of Mary Poppins, which also happens to star Julie Andrews, and was released the year before this.
Oh, and I didn't want to read too much because I knew you were taking the fun facts on this one, but I have a fun fact for you. That I believe the director of The Sound of Music got to see Mary Poppins before it came out and said, get her before someone else does. Before anyone else sees this movie, get her now.
Yeah. And it was really ironic. They were filming Sound of Music well before Mary Poppins came out, and to amuse the children between takes, she would sing Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to them.
Know that.
And because the movie hadn't come out, the kids all thought that she had just made it up just for them.
Oh, that's so cute. Like, their chemistry is really good. Her chemistry with the children is amazing. It makes the fucking movie. She sings I Have Confidence on the way to the Von Trapp house, which was written for the musical, right? The movie?
Yes, it was.
And it's a cute little number.
And it's mostly just her talking herself up. He's like, I can do this. And there's one fun little thing that happened. So, as she's finally got up the gumption to go inside, you see her open up the gate, she walks by, and then she trips and almost falls on her face.
That's pretty funny.
That wasn't intentional.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that was an intentional prop call. It was so cute.
It was the first time that Julie Andrews screwed up something, but that the director thought it was so funny that they decided to keep it in.
Apparently, during the I Have Confidence number, there's actually a cameo from
Maria Von Trapp herself.
The actual Maria Von Trapp herself.
And her daughter.
Yeah, they get passed by her or something.
She's dressed as a peasant walking through the square.
I have an issue with this number. And I'm going to be stretching on this episode to complain. So allow me when I find a thing to complain about. This number makes it seem like it's such a great distance from the monastery to the Von Trapp house, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I remember it's like such like a car
And
ride
then-
and walking, and then
Yeah.
later you'll find that maybe it's not such a great distance, and I feel like I didn't notice it until I thought back to the scene. I was like, oh wow, is it far or isn't it far?
I think she just takes a bus.
It's like a car bus thing. I don't know. It just, the musical number made it feel like it's this big...
Einen Autobus.
It's like a big journey is what this musical number makes it feels like, but it can't be because of things that happen later, so yeah.
So I also have down in here that this is not a great choice of outfit for your Out of Abbey premiere, but that's addressed later on in here. Let's see what else I have. I have said, yep, nope, nothing to say here except for Julie Andrews has gorgeous eyes and hella charisma.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets to the thing, she knocks on the door, introduces herself to the butler, who tells her Ms. Butler. You get creepy vibes from the butler right off. You're like, this butler isn't a good person.
Well, she thinks he's the captain, but he's not.
Yeah, but he's not. He's the butler, and he seems shifty.
He buttles.
Yeah, yes, he buttles.
He buttles.
He seems shifty, so we get on that. But eventually we do meet Christopher Plummer as Georg von Trapp. And this is the first time that we've run into this in one of the musicals that we watched, but they dub his singing voice.
It isn't the first.
Is it?
Oh, they dubbed Marlon Brando weird in Guys and Dolls.
No, that was his singing voice.
Yeah,
though.
but that's a dub.
No,
they pasted together and made a Frankenstein
Christopher
track.
Plummer's had a
entirely dubbed.
an entirely different actor.
I feel like someone else was dubbed too, though, in one of the shows we watched. But I know for sure that they dubbed Marlon Brando with Marlon Brando.
Yes, but they dubbed Christopher Plummer with somebody else. Because he can't sing. Christopher Plummer and this seems like he's irritated the entire time, and there's a good reason for that.
Isn't he drunk the whole shoot or something?
He wasn't drunk the entire shoot. He was drunk for a lot of it because he just really, really didn't want to be there, and found Julie Andrews to be insufferable.
I thought they ended up friends afterwards.
They did. They ended up being lifelong friends. But Christopher Plummer found her absolutely he could not stand being around her. He called her Miss Disney. He said it was like being forced to work with a living Valentine's Day card every day.
That's amazing.
Even through all of that, he did say he ended up developing quite a crush on her by the end of filming. I said he's got. He really kind of seems to me like Jason Isaacs in The Patriot. You know, like a depiction of a colonial era British villain. I thought he was fun.
Oh my god. Here.
What?
I found Christopher Plummer's vocals that got dubbed over. I think he sounds good. I think he sounds perfectly serviceable. What an odd choice to overdub him. Because...
maybe he wasn't reliable because of drinking.
Oh, that could have been it. I don't know, but I'm sorry. I had been curious about this since we brought up the overdub.
So they did end up dubbing him over...
with an actor that does not sound like his speaking voice. So it's noticeable.
Not in the slightest.
No. So.
And yeah, he was generally pretty crabby on set because he didn't want to be there. He gave up another show to do it, and he said he regretted it later, which is stupid to me because he ended up being... This movie did in fact end up winning Best Picture.
It won 5 Academy Awards.
It won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Song. 4 Edelweiss, I believe.
Which is ironic, because that's the song that people from Austria really hate the most.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the introduction scene where they all meet, I was like, this motherfucker is so annoying. With the whistle.
yeah.
I was like, this whistle cannot be in this entire production. It's contracts.
And it's not.
It's not. They get over it pretty quick, but he's like, here are my children. Oh, no, not here are my children, which is what I want.
Yeah,
here are the children. Here are the children, and you will whistle to them.
That's
you
your
want
whistle
you
to
to
them.
come.
This one's whistle is...
No, he's British, so... but he's very stoic, and he has, his 7 kids, and he, makes them stand in a line, and each one has their own whistle, which he's like, you will whistle when you want to call them, and they're regimented, and we're ordered, and then he makes them each step forward and say something about themselves, and I remember one of them was like, I'm incorrigible.
I'm incorrigible. I'm impossible.
I'm an asshole.
It's like, what does incorrigible means? And Andrews is like, I believe that means you prefer to be treated like a boy.
Yeah, I instantly liked the kids, actually. I was won over the first, 5 minutes of seeing them on screen. I really liked them a lot. And then he, like, hands Maria the whistle, and it's just like, okay, now you've been paying attention, now you do the whistles. And she's like,
I'm not doing
I'm not doing that! They're not dogs!
And then she starts to walk off, and she whistles at him. And she's like, you never gave me your whistle.
And he's like, I don't have one. And she's just like, see, bitch? Nobody wants to be whistled at.
You may call me Captain. Or Sir.
Yeah.
I said the kids are great. There's too many of them, though. I don't remember all their names.
And neither does Maria.
Yeah.
First.
I still don't think I can remember them all. I don't think I wrote them down. I remember Gretel and Lysol.
There's
Friedrich.
Lisa, Gretel, Friedrich. Kurt is the one that Maria forgets. Maybe I'm like, it's like trying to remember the 7 dwarfs. Liesel, Kurt, Friedrich. I only have 3 now. I'm forgetting as we talk. I should write their names down. But isn't this? They go from this to dinner later, right?
Yeah.
And she's late to dinner. Amazing.
Yeah. And it's really funny. Everyone hates her dress just as much as I do.
Oh yeah, everyone talks shit about it.
And so it was like, well, when I came in, they donated the rest of my clothes to the poor. It was like, well, what about, didn't this dress get donated to the poor? Oh, the poor didn't want this one.
It's really funny. She shows up late to dinner, and she sits down, and she sits on a pie cone, and she, like, yelps, but doesn't want to, like, out the children yet. So she goes, oh, it's sciatica, and all the kids are like, oh, shit. You know, like, she's one of us. And then she, like...
She guilt trips
them. She's just like, because earlier in the show, they put a frog in her pocket as she was leaving. And she thanks them for the lovely gift that they gave her. And that, you know, she's just like so sweet about like, I know you wanted me to feel welcome and yada yada. And then the dad's just like, what did they give you? And I'm like, oh, it's a gift between them and I. She doesn't want to get them in trouble yet.
And then they just start
the little ones start
sobbing.
Crying. So funny. And they try to like, have conversation at dinner, and then like
yes, love, lay down the guilt trip. Mother would be proud.
Yeah, and I feel like there's tension here in this conversation. I don't remember all the details. I just remember definitely that like it's obvious that Maria and George are on 2 opposite sides of how you should take care of kids and how you should converse. They get a telegram. Yes, you get to meet Rolf, the telegram delivery boy, and as soon as you see this child on screen, you're like, that child's a Nazi. Yeah, and ironically enough, he has... Again, this does occur in 1930s. Oh. Austria, late 30s Austria. We should kind of maybe cover that, or do we want to wait until it becomes necessary in the plot? I mean, sure, we can go ahead and cover it. Okay, so, yeah. This takes place in the late 30s in Austria, right before Austria is taken over by the Nazis. And it wasn't... Austria wasn't so much of like an invasion. It was more of like, you know, you are German now, and you would be Nazis. You are Nazis now. Yeah. And the Austrians were like, fuck. Okay, I guess we're Nazis now. It was Anschluss? Anschluss. Anschluss is what it was referred to as. It was kind of like a quiet, they kind of, there's not active war yet. It's basically what I think Russia would have wanted to happen in Ukraine, but didn't. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very much like, you're part of the family now, guys. You speak German, we speak German, and they speak Austrian. Yes, I speak German. Oh, thank God. I was about to have a moment of like, I'm an asshole if Austrian's a language. Well, when they take over, if you are part of the Austrian military, you are expected to join the army of the Reich. Yep. So the reason that all this happens is because Georg von Trapp is very, very loyal Austrian. He is not a Nazi. They cover this, like he has, like it is a thing. He is fucking, we are Austrian with British accents. Yes, and he hates Nazis almost as much as I do. So that is a thing that will be an issue later on. But that is, I think it's helpful to have context to know when this is taking place, because if you don't know exactly the time period, you're like, oh hey, it's this love story. Now there are Nazis. Yeah. So. But yeah, Rolf shows up, and he delivers a telegram, and I said the first real Nazi, and of course he's American. And then Liesel comes, the oldest daughter. She's 16 and does not need a governess, she says earlier. And Liesel has the hotsy for the Nazi. Hotsy Nazis. Yeah. And then we get our next musical number.
Yes, which is the classic 16 going on 17, which Elle was a real big fan of.
Probably my least favorite song of the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole thing is just like, you are 16 going on 17, I'm a year older and you don't have a penis, so shut the hell up.
It's kind of creepy. Like, I don't know, the whole thing... Okay, so first off, Liesel's supposed to be 16. It's obvious the actress playing Liesel is not 16.
She's 22.
She is 23.
22.
What?
She was 22 when she shot.
Oh, my bad. I guess she was 23 when it came out?
Yes.
Okay, so she's 22 years old playing a 16-year-old. So, she looks young, I get mad, but she's singing I'm 16 going on 17, which is weird. And then the guy playing Rolf is obviously not 17 going on 18 either. So initially before, and I've never heard the song. I've not heard this song. So all I hear is her going, I'm 16 going on 17, singing to this person who's clearly in his 20s. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh fuck, this is disgusting. She's like about to turn 17 and this guy's like in his 20s, he's gonna be a Nazi, and then he starts singing I'm 17 going on 18, which makes it less creepy, but then his words are so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
And then there's this one line, oh god, it was like, you're like a blank page, or like a blank diary, and men are gonna want to write on you. And I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, why do we anthropomorphize women so much? Like, she has no agency whatsoever. She's a blank fucking diary. That line annoyed me. So probably, yes, this is my least favorite song.
I don't think it's supposed to be a good thing.
No, it's clear the Rolf dude is a fuck boy. We don't like Rolf.
And then they have a lovely dance number, they share a kiss, and then they dance around and around and around this gazebo, which is a cool dance number.
The dance number is very good. I did enjoy that because it starts raining and they run under this glass gazebo, and the dance number is really pretty, and I did enjoy that.
And the whole dance number went really, really well until the girl playing Liesel did in fact trip during one of the jumps and fall through a plate glass window.
Holy shit!
So they had to come back and shoot it with her leg all bandaged up, and they had makeup over the bandage so you wouldn't see it.
Oh, poor girl. Or woman.
Woman.
She's 22. Oh,
and the girl who played Liesel actually, she also developed a crush during the production.
What?
On Christopher Plummer.
Oh my god. And you know what?
Which he was 35 when they shot this.
I know!
So it wasn't...
he's my age! I'm sitting here watching this going, young Christopher Plummer was kind of hot. In a way, I'm mostly gay, but I'm not dead to that. So
They did age a lot faster, though. He looks so much
younger
younger than that.
I was sitting here going, man, zaddy vibes from Christopher Plummer. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, he's my age. Shit. Oh my god. So, but I was like, is he hot because he's hot or because he's a dad? And then I realized I'm fucking old. So, so we cut back to Maria getting situated.
Yes. Now a pretty bad rainstorm has kicked up.
Oh, can't forget, she gets material from the lady.
Yes. To
make her own clothes because everyone hates her dress. And she wants to get material for the kids to make play clothes, and it's like, no, you're probably not going to get it, yada yada, and then she's going to get new drapes. Right. And she's like, well, these drapes are perfectly good in my room, so that's a plot point. And then she starts saying her prayers. Yes, and then my favorite line.
Liesel comes in through the window.
Yes, and she can't remember all the kids' names when she's trying to say
goodness, yeah, she's like, God bless Gretel and Liesel, and God bless what was that one's name?
I can't remember. God bless
what's his name?
And Liesel tries to sneak in the window behind her, soaking wet, and then she's
like, God bless Liesel, and just let her know that if she needs anything at all, I want her to see me as someone she can talk to, and so on.
And it's really a cute scene because Liesel's like, you're not going to rat me out. And she's like, no, I'm not going to rat you out. Like, we can wash
now go take your clothes off. Take a shower.
We're going to wash your clothes. We'll dry them. No one will ever know you snuck back in. It's fine. And it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And the rainstorm really kicks up.
Yeah, and we got thunderbolt and lightning. Very, very frightening. And the girls run in and they're like, ah!
The little girls run into her room. And they get up in the bed with her and start cuddling, and it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then there's 4 girls. There's 4 girls. Lisa's in the bathroom, And then
there's 5 girls and 2 boys.
Yeah, so there's 4 of the girls in the bed, Lisa's in the bathroom, and the little girls are like, there's a comment about, oh, the boys aren't here, yada yada, and Julie Andrews is like, not yet, anyways, and then they show up, and then they're like, we just wanted to make sure you guys were okay, and then they get scared by a bolt of lightning, and all the kids are in the bed, and
but it's not a big bed either, it's like a single.
It's so adorable, yeah, and then this is, favorite things.
Yeah.
She starts singing.
Yeah, and she sings, these are a few of my favorite things just to calm them down from the storm, and it's really, really sweet.
Oh, and before favorite things start, she says, God bless Kurt, out loud.
Kurt! That's his
Kurt's name. And she says, God bless Kurt, because I wrote it in quotes. I thought it was fucking hilarious delivery. But the context for favorite things is just so... Because I feel like the song's kind of fucking annoying, because I always hear it as a stupid, capitalistic Christmas song.
Yeah. And
then it got sampled in that one Ariana Grande song, so it's always just so obnoxious, but seeing it in its original context, it's such a sweet song.
Yeah, I have this, I've written down Mary Poppins 2, the Squeakquel.
Totally. So they're having fun and singing and laughing and dancing and rabble-rousing, and Liesl comes out, and we're all having a good time, and then of course Captain Sourpuss comes and ruins the fucking moment.
Yeah, it's like, the captain is a dick, but he has a beautiful smoking jacket on.
Oh, I didn't even notice the smoking jacket. And the kids run off, and he makes some snide comment about, I hope you find discipline in the next month while I'm gone. Yes. And she asks for the material.
And he doesn't like them singing.
Yeah, he has a real problem with them singing, which is ironic.
Which is not the way it was in real life.
Yeah. So, she asks him for the material for the kids' clothes, and he shoots her down.
Yeah.
And then you see her pawing at the curtains, and then I'm like, this bitch is gonna pull Gone with the Wind.
And she does.
And she does pull Gone with the Wind. Okay, wow, I was actually, paying attention. I can tell when I'm actually engaged with something because
you don't have as many notes.
I have fewer notes because I'm actually paying attention. So the captain leaves, right, and the kids go off.
Yeah, the captain is leaving for the other city in Austria. Vienna. Yes, Vienna.
Where the sausages come from.
Home of the waltz.
And the sausages. Vienna sausages. Okay, I'm done.
Vienna? What is wrong with you? So anyway, he goes off to Vienna to go get some poontang from this Contessa.
And Uncle Max.
And no, he's probably not going to.
He's not going to get
He's probably not going to strip Uncle Max. But they go up there. And while they're gone, Maria is getting to know the kids. And we get another...
But not that number. That number is in another musical. Getting to know you.
Oh, God. We get another iconic number from The Sound of Music. And we do get to have the reveal of the kids dressed in their play clothes, which I love because...
they're so cute.
Peter is wearing floral lederhosen.
Which is amazing. They're so cute. And I love that they took Do Re Mi and turned it into a month-long montage, basically.
Yeah.
The plot
it was really funny when it came up, you were like, oh no, not the solfege song.
I know. They do a really good job with it. So... I think last one I bitched about solfege. Yes, I did bitch about solfege. So basically, I wish that I could just clip Julie Andrews talking about solfege in this movie and play it anytime we ever need to describe solfege, because it's literally the best explanation for how it works. Anybody that wants to learn to sing should start by listening to this musical number in its entirety, because it's just it's really good. The scene and how they cut between and show the kids struggling the scene at the beginning and then understanding it more, and then being able to build patterns within the scale that they've learned. It's just a really cool journey, and I love the fact that they made this time go so fast. I don't know, I thought the pacing was really excellent. I thought the direction was great.
And then the next lesson is that one song from Steven Universe.
Yeah, the song from Steven Universe.
Peace and Love on the Planet Earth.
Is another really great solfege song. But not...
To me, solfege is solfege. 2 heroes enter, 1 leaves.
And I don't know why
Fight for the rights of the solfege.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called solfege. It's SOLFAG. I don't know why it's called that.
Oh, that's solfeige.
But yeah, so that happens, and basically they just show the entire month happening in, training montage. Do Re Mi is basically the equivalent of the push it to the limit training montage.
Be a man.
Be a man. It's
now you're a man.
Oh.
A man, a man, a man.
Oh, I was thinking
That's
be
from,
a man from
from
Mulan.
Mulan. I was thinking
from
now.
Mulan. Yeah.
Now I was thinking now you're a man from Orgasmo.
Oh my god, yeah. But it is. It just occurred to me as we were discussing it that Do Re Mi is the training montage. Like.
Yeah.
And it's
it
really
is.
good. Yeah. Like they lift weights, they eat their spinach, and they learn to sing. Some of those things happened, and some of them didn't. Month takes place. Happens pretty fast, and then you get the
You get to finally meet the Contessa.
Yes, I have a note here. Ha ha ha! Rich people in a car. Yes.
Until he drives past his children climbing trees.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Who the fuck are they?" And then the captain's like, "Some hoodlums." Or I don't know what he doesn't use the word hoodlum. Oh, it was a good word he used, but it was like some neighbor kids or something. Whatever the Austrian hoodlums.
Those hoodlums.
Whatever the Austrian equivalent of that would be.
Those Scheißkopfs.
Okay, rich people in a car. There's some comment about gay parties, and I wrote that down. They were talking about it in the car, and I was like, I want to go.
So now, this is when the politics of the thing really starts to spin up.
Yes. They show up. We still haven't seen the kids Julie Andrews yet.
We get our first Heil Hitler.
Yeah, first Heil Hitler of the show. So Rolf shows up with a telegram or something?
Yes.
Yes, he shows up with a telegram for Captain Von Tramp. Tramp?
Georg.
For George.
Georg.
He has an English accent. I am not calling him Georg, which is the German spelling or German pronunciation of the name George. He is a George in this movie. Sorry.
Okay.
If you want a Georg out of me, you gotta at least give him a light dusting of an Austrian accent. Give me a little bit of a somewhere. But he has a telegram for him. And then, he heils Hitler, and then it leads to this, confrontation between Christopher Plummer's character and Uncle Max.
Yeah. Because we get the feeling that Uncle Max is the type of person that will work with the Nazis if he has to. And we get the feeling from Captain Von Trapp that Von Trapp fucking hates
the
Nazis. Which, you know what? He might be a dick, but at least he's not a Nazi.
Well, and, I don't know. I understand. It's easy to kind of, initially assume that Uncle Max might be, an antagonist because of his, you know what, it's out of my control, I'm not gonna get run over. No. You either accept it or they steamroll over you, and I don't want to be steamrolled over, basically. I want to survive. So it's, in retrospect, with a modern-day lens of how we view Nazis, or Jesus fucking Christ, how I hope Nazis at home.
Hey guys, Nazis are bad, okay?
We fought a war over this. I don't know why it's a question.
Hey, if you like Nazis, fuck off. Stop listening to my podcast.
Yeah, please kindly go fuck off. It's easy to kind of, because we always talk about, what would you do if you were here? What would you do? How would you? You're there right now, how would you have behaved? And it's just, it's easy to, look at Uncle Max and be like, well, is his behavior, bad? But he's trying to work within the confines of a system that's going to crush him if he's not careful. So, I understand what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, and Max is never seen as any sort of an antagonist in this.
Yeah.
Really.
It seems like the Contessa it's like they start out being the antagonists, and then you realize the real bad guys are the Nazis.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of appreciate that about this musical.
Yeah, and that when you're confronted with an evil as great as fascism, hint, hint, a lot of other divisions fall aside and you focus on the fascism.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so we have the conversation where it's it's kind of alluded to that, at this point, Austria is still independent. This is before the Anschluss happens. So it's kind of this, well, fuck, Germany's coming. We better go get used to it. And he's just fuck this, I'm Austrian, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
He gets frustrated by Uncle Max's apoliticalness at this time.
Right.
And then the kids come!
Yes, we finally do get to see the kids again. They are back in their clothes made from Curtin's glory.
That they were just climbing trees in.
Yes, and Maria brings them out on a boat.
They're on a fucking boat! It's amazing!
And they capsize the boat.
Oh, it's so cute. It's obvious that they're having such a good time, and they're so excited to see their dad. They're not oh, fuck, Captain Sourpuss. They're Father, Fasha!
And they collapse it. The fun thing about this scene is that when they filmed this scene, the plan was for when the boat tips, the girl who was playing Gretel couldn't swim.
The little one! Oh, Gretel's so cute!
And the plan was for Julie Andrews to catch her as the boat capsized.
Uh-huh.
Problem was, the boat capsized. She fell off the other end of the boat.
Oh, you can see that. She tumbles off. Yeah.
Yeah, she fell off the other end of the boat, so Gretel fell into the water. And I believe the girl who played Lysel was the one that had to pull her out.
Yeah, well, she's fucking 22. She's a grown-ass woman. Like,
well, and Andrews felt guilty about that for years and years after that.
Oh, God. So, there is a confrontation, obviously. We've been waiting for Captain Sourpuss and Maria to go at it.
And they do.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very well acted.
Yeah, it's very well written and very well acted on both ends.
Kids run inside to go get changed.
Yes, and they go at it, and eventually Von Trapp...
it's such a good scene.
Yeah, and Maria is standing there really defending the children's right to play.
And also, she's like, your children love you, and they want a relationship with you, and you're pushing them away, and she literally dresses him down about his relationship with each individual child, and she talks about each kid to him. And he's just like, no, I don't want to hear it, basically, trying to shut her down.
And then he fires her.
And he fires her. And she's like, fine, I'm going to get my shit, I'm going to go. And as they're preparing to walk inside, you hear the kids singing The Sound of Music again. And it's a beautiful reprise. Then they kind of start walking in, and Von Trapp's just like, what's this? And she's like, I taught the kids a song for the Contessa to sing for her when she came back. And he kind of walks in.
And I have written down that... his voice box grew 3 sizes that day.
Yeah, he starts singing with them.
He
and he walks in, and it's just like...
Well, someone does. It's not Christopher Plummer.
I would have liked to hear Christopher Plummer sing it. It's really a beautiful scene. And then, Maria's going to get her shit, and Von Trapp's just like, wait, don't leave. Stay.
Yes, please stay.
Please stay. I reacted inappropriately,
And this is where you can see Von Trapp starting to soften a little bit.
It's beautiful.
Get a little doe-eyed with Andrews.
And I want to talk about a thing. I don't know if it's because I'm old, but there's something, because, these characters are in their 30s. Julie Andrews was 30 when she played this, and Christopher Plummer's 35. So it's actually kind of nice that they're not super far apart in age, and neither one of them are children. And a lot of these shows we've seen previous to this have had very young protagonists. So it's kind of cool to see some adults in roles.
Right.
But, their romance, a lot of it surrounds kids. And I don't know, there's something really hot about watching your other half interact with children in a cool way. You're just like, oh my god, they're a good parent, or they have the potential to be a good parent. I think that's why, as you get older, what you find attractive is different.
Right.
I don't know if it's a biological clock thing. There's no way this guy isn't going to fall in love with her. I mean, look at how how his children have opened up under her. There's no way that, I don't know. When I'm watching this, I'm like, the Contessa doesn't stand a fucking chance. There's no way.
Right.
So, as it's long track.
So now we move on to a very silly song.
I didn't even write the name of the song.
It's called The Lonely Goatherd.
The Lonely Goatherd. When we were watching the credits, I was like, why are there puppeteers?
And of course, this is a 60s movie, so the credits take place in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, is it going to be Gestapo puppets? What the fuck? I have no idea. And then
Puppet Heil!
Yeah. And then, there's a puppet stage, and the little kids are doing the puppet.
It's the only way that they could outdo Indiana Jones is by, instead of having a monkey say Kyle, they'll have a puppet say Kyle. There's
no Kyling, though. It seems like a folk song about goats and yodeling. Yodelay, yodelay.
Yes, it's a song about a horny goat herd and how he finds his girl.
And basically, I don't think Rodgers and Hammerstein can write a musical without a throwaway song.
But this one's really well done, and
musically, it's very good.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Julie Andrews' singing is very tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. She does some cool collar tour shit, and she bounces around up on these high notes. I'm like, wow, this song does nothing for the plot. It's diegetic. The song takes place within the story.
It's their singing. They're putting on a puppet show.
At least it's not out of place being there. And Austen's like, oh god, here's the song, and I'm like, wait, this is the throwaway song? This isn't half bad. I'm not annoyed by its existence in this musical. I can move on.
Yeah.
This is where Uncle Max starts deciding that he wants them to kind of he wants to be their manager. He wants to be their stage daddy. And Von Trapp is like, no fucking way, my kids aren't going to sing in public. And the Contessa is like, you gotta throw me a party! A gay party! She doesn't say that, but... So there's going to be a party now.
Well, you missed one.
Oh, I did? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you missed Edelweiss.
Edelweiss happens. Oh my god, I skipped a song! I didn't even write it down! I was too busy watching the movie!
So the kids are singing.
Done, yeah.
They're like, okay, so
Who's
gonna sing next? And they hand the guitar to Christopher Plummer. Both Andrews and Plummer both learned to play the guitar specifically for this movie.
Well, it's only had to learn a couple songs.
Yes.
It's not bad.
So they hand it to Christopher Plummer, and he's like, okay, fine. And he sings what's supposed to be this Austrian folk song. It was written for the musical.
It's about
and a flower.
The flower. The Edelweiss flower.
The Edelweiss flower, which is the national flower of Austria. And it only grows... it's actually now restricted. It's actually a federal crime in Austria to pick Edelweiss.
They're kind of like bluebonnets here.
Yes, except for I don't know why it's illegal to pick bluebonnets here. That's stupid. But the Edelweiss is actually very rare because it's endangered because of the biome it grows in.
I don't know.
So it's a very pretty song. Edelweiss, Edelweiss. I remember this song because my dad has sung it multiple times.
Your dad sings it better than Super Plummer.
Yeah, my dad, I don't know if I've talked about my father or not, but he's a very, very talented singer.
He's the reason I've seen most of the musicals I've seen in the past decade. Because,
so if you remember Mayor Shim from The Music Man, that was, my dad's played that. He played Kerchak and Tarzan. He played... he's done he played Triton and The Little Mermaid.
He's
and
Frollo
we did
in
it.
Hunchback.
He's done Frollo.
That was really good.
He's done Judge Turpin.
Which made me feel uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Frankly, both of those made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I don't like it when my dad plays a pedo.
No, I don't think there's any... Oh, yeah, he is a pedo. Never mind. Yeah, Turpin's definitely a pedo.
Oh, yeah.
Frollo's not.
Esmeralda is supposed to be young.
Alright, but we digress. Edelweiss, and then throw me a party!
They throw me a party, and they do.
Yeah, and I said, party, now complete with more Nazis.
Yes. And I said, oh, the butler's a Nazi too!
Yeah, and he has Austrian flags, because he's like, fuck you, motherfuckers. And the Nazis are like, what is this display of national pride? You're supposed to become a Nazi, and like, whenever we roll through here.
And we see them, we see a nice little dance number with...
Oh, this is so sweet. What's the song called?
I think it's just a waltz.
Yeah. It's like supposed to be a traditional dance number, or supposed to be a traditional dance song, and the kids are watching the party take place from like the patio outside. They're not part of the party itself, it seems like. And they're gonna dance with each other, and then Maria's trying to teach Kurt and
Liza.
How to dance. And, like, she's kind of struggling because Kurt is shorter than her, so she's not able to do the moves correctly. And so Georg comes out, and they do the number together. And it's very, like, it's obvious that there's chemistry there. It's a thing. Does the Contessa come out, I think?
Yes, the Contessa sees them while they're dancing.
The Contessa sees them dancing, and Maria is blushing red. Someone makes a comment about it, and she's just like, I am? What the fuck? I don't understand this.
She doesn't know. Maria spent her entire... adult experience in a convent. She doesn't know,
and she's probably nerd.
Yeah,
like realistically,
she doesn't know what she doesn't know what love is.
She doesn't know what these feelings are.
And so the Countess is fully aware of what's going on, and she starts fucking with her. And I have written down here Nazi love games.
So
playing Nazi love games with her.
So Max wants Maria to come to the party and hang out because Max wants to get the kids to perform.
Right.
And he feels
for a winter festival or
this folk festival, the Salzburg Folk Festival. So Max was angling for Maria to go to the party, and Maria's like, well, I'm not dressed. And Von Trapp's like, well, get dressed. Change. So Contessa goes up with her to help her figure out what to wear or how to get changed. And they have a conversation. And, like, to be fair, all the Contessa does is tell her, you two are in love with each other. That's all the Contessa does.
Yeah.
I don't know how shifty or shady it is. Maria's there as a nun, believing she's going to be doing God's work. Her plan is not to fall in love with this man and hook up with him. Her plan from the very beginning is she hears way before any of this happens from Frau Smith that he's going to marry the Contessa and the kids will get a new mother. So her mind is, I'm preparing the kids for this new mother he's getting married. So in her mind, her and Von Trapp having a connection is fucking up Von Trapp getting married to the person he's supposed to get married.
Right.
So, this what she does, Shanae? Yes, but I mean, what is she supposed to do? She's in a relationship with Von Trapp. Like, I don't know, I think that she could have done way worse with how she addressed it.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
So Maria
starts shoving her shit in her carpet bag, which I really liked.
Yes.
I made a note that I thought her carpet bag was great.
Although we have missed a song again.
What did we miss?
We missed So Long.
Oh, yeah. So long, I'll be to say goodbye.
Which has one of my... So, before they have this whole conversation...
The kids are going to go to bed.
They send the kids to bed, so they do a music... They get everybody's attention, and they do a music number to send the kids off. And has my favorite... has one of my favorite rhymes in all of music history.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is... Adieu, adieu to you, and you, and you.
Yeah, it's... meh. It's a
I
kid's
love
song.
it. It's
a
great.
kid's song. It's... I don't know, it's unobjectionable. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So
It's cute.
Yeah. I'm not going to be singing that one or blasting it later. So.
We all know you're just going to rock out to fucking Edelweiss the entire night.
Oh, yes, that's the number. Actually, I kind of think Edelweiss is kind of boring. The thing is, there are no
bad songs.
There are no bad songs. There is no shapoopy. There is no clam bake. There is no... What's the one in Oklahoma that most of it.
Yeah, most of it.
There was like one song where I was like, this is super trash. I don't know, but there is no...
The farmer and the cowhand should be friends.
I don't know, it wasn't bad. Okay, I'm gonna digress. But there is no clam bake, there is no shapoopy, there is no like really egregiously bad fucking song in it. So like my griping is kind of, it's aight.
Judd Fry is dead.
Poor Judd is dead.
Yeah.
That was the one. Yeah, I didn't like it. But there's no really bad song that's just gonna be like, this is the one, I fucking hate it. So, like, this song is fine. It's perfectly serviceable. The kids sing their goodnight song to you, and then they fuck off and go to bed. And Julie Andrews packs all her shit and fucking runs away from her feelings.
As one does.
Yeah, and then we get to the convent, and she has not spoken to anybody. And we find this out because the kids run away to the convent. And I'm like, so is the convent a long ways away, or can 7 children walk there? Because it looks like 7 children just walk there later. So I'm like, is this like convent, like on a, is it like its own extra planar space that gets further and closer? I'm nitpicking. The kids are really sad because they can't see Maria.
Yeah, by the way, we skipped another interesting thing about this, in that this movie has an actual intermission.
Oh yeah, with an entr'acte and everything.
Yeah, like, it
After
actually
Maria
walks
leaves.
up and says, intermission.
And she leaves a note behind.
Yeah, which is nice, because this is a 3-hour-long movie.
Yeah.
I said, I wish Lord of the Rings had an intermission. But speaking of that, so now that the intermission's over, we get to see, we see that she's left, and the kids are stuck with the Baroness, and they're playing a very, very boring game where you have to say that, like, each person gets a number, and you throw the ball to the person with the number as you say their name, which is like, it's an old acting exercise. I never really understood the point of it. I always thought it was kind of dumb.
Oh, it's an acting exercise?
Yeah.
Maybe it's to remember people's numbers? I have no idea.
I don't know. But I have it written down here. Oh, boring Nazi games are boring. Nazis don't know how to take care of kids. And depressed, angry, singing children.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is this... I feel like we skipped a thing. So I think this happens, but do they sneak off before this? Or after this? Because they sneak off to go try to see Marie at the convent.
They do. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
No. This happens before then, and then they say go play, and the kids sneak off to the monastery, and
Okay,
that's when the Contessa and Max have the conversation about how she's just going to send him to a boarding school anyway.
Oh yeah, that's how she's going to be a parent. She's just going to ship him off to boarding school. So my one thing I don't like is that one scene. I'm rooting for her because, like, I don't know, I appreciate her responsible adult mature love triangle, which is kind of what's happening here, except for the fact that she's not interested in being a parent, which I get it. She's older and I don't know. So, but yeah, I don't like that. It's irritating.
But then the kids go to try and find her at the monastery, and we find out that Maria has put herself in seclusion and is not talking to anybody, not even the other nuns.
Distraught.
And the Reverend Mother finds out about this, and it's like,
I gotta reminisce.
Well, yeah, so it's just like, send me Maria.
Bring me the girl. And then we get climb every mountain.
Yes, and you thought that
The framing of this shot is so weird.
Okay, so there's a reason for this.
They overdubbed her.
They
right?
overdubbed her, and she couldn't lip sync.
Oh, that makes a lot more. I was like, who the fuck shot this?
Yeah, she couldn't lip sync.
Is this the thing
because
you
she's
were
old.
referencing?
Yes,
Okay.
because she's like, I'm too old to get this. I can't get it. She was getting really, really frustrated.
She was a famous Broadway singer, right?
Yeah, no, and they like
she didn't have the high notes.
She didn't have the she couldn't sing anymore. She said she was too old to do this.
Yeah,
and she was getting
older, you lose your high notes.
Was really, really struggling with it. And so eventually they're like, you know what? We'll just dub it and we'll shoot you in shadow.
Yeah, and I was just sitting here going, this is the Mother Superior's big number, and she's in the shadows singing, and the focus is on Julie Andrews acting, and I'm like, what an interesting choice for how they chose to shoot this.
Yeah.
Shoot this. Okay, makes way more sense. That was my complaining there, was the odd framing, but that makes a lot more sense. And then the kids come back, and Dad's like, where the fuck have you been? And the kids are terrible liars. They're really bad at this. They pick thousands of strawberries. And Dad's like, show me the berries.
It's too early for blueberries. Oh, it was strawberries because it's been so cold.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, well, then you won't, obviously you won't be needing dinner if you've eaten thousands of berries.
And he, like, snickers as he walks off. And it's like, oh my God. And they're like, and, like, Kurt immediately is like, I'm gonna die. It's Kurt
gonna
Friedberg.
die.
I'm gonna starve to death. You know, it's like it's that trope in everything where you're without food. There's immediately one person who, when you're without food, you're like, I'm hungry now because I don't have it. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just sing favorite things. You know, that song Maria taught us, and they start singing, and it's so sad.
Until you hear in the distance,
Maria.
She joins in.
Oh, by the way, the Climb Every Mountain song. Did not realize how literal that was going to be later.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, oh, what a nice generic song about picking yourself up and doing something with your life. And making
so basically,
decisions.
the Mother Superior tells her that she's like, you know what, grow up.
You can't run. The convent is not a place where you run away from your problems.
So the nun says, nut up or shut up. If you're in love with the guy, go be with him.
Fucking tell him. You have to tell him. If it's a no, you've got to tell him. So she runs back, and you're like, oh my God, Maria's back! And then the Contessa and Uncle Max are there, and yeah, it's obviously an issue. And then later, she's like, well, I'll stay. Oh, she finds out they're engaged, so they've officially agreed to marry. And Maria says, congratulations, I'm only going to stay until you can find your replacement governess. And she goes inside, and then like later on, you see her walking around, and it's nighttime, and Von Trapp's watching her walk around, and the Contessa comes out. And they have their conversation, and it's just, like, such a mature conversation, right? Yeah. Like, when Von Trapp is talking to the Contessa, like...
And the Contessa is like, it was never going to work between us anyway. I need somebody who needs me desperately, or at least needs my money.
Yeah, and Von Trapp's always been an independent kind of guy. And it's not going to work out, but it's not like, oh, fuck Maria, yada yada. Like, it's like, no, you guys fell in love, and that means we're not supposed to be together. And it's one of the best love triangles I've seen in a story written. I think it's a really great love triangle. I think it really sets, like, the stage and gives you an example of, like, how to handle that.
Right. And
how to be mature. And how to grow from it and stuff, so. And then they have the conversation in the same spot. So Von Trapp goes to talk to Maria, and they're in the same garden area with the same bench, the same gazebo that we were in for 16 going on 17. I was like, that's brilliant. They set it up. Because Liesl got her first kiss there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was like, oh my God, what great bookends here. So they talk about their feelings. They kiss in the gazebo, and then we get something good.
Yeah, and the silhouette in this is great. We see that they're married now.
Oh, we're jumping ahead.
Oh wait, no, sorry, you're right.
Yo, but I will say in the something good shot, one thing that always takes me out of musicals, and I will say it takes me out of operas as well, but at least with operas, like, I know to expect it. I hate when someone is having a tender love moment and they're singing at each other 2 feet from each other's face at forte, and I'm like, how the fuck is this romantic? It drives me crazy in Mimi and Rodolfo's duet in La Boheme. They're like, we're in love, and then they walk off, and Mimi's singing a high C, and I'm like, this is so fucking loud. It's not romantic at all. But in this number, they're singing very conversationally and very quietly. Like, it's a very intimate moment. They're backlit. It's a very intimate thing, and the way it's shot, it is the only one of these types of scenes I've ever seen that actually seems romantic.
Right.
It's really beautiful. Like, the lighting is great. I say almost sexy lighting, like the way it's shot. It's one of the few times I've ever seen a duet, like a love duet, that actually was like, wow, this is great.
Right.
So I really liked that.
So they get married. We see her in her gorgeous
wedding dress. Yeah.
Getting made up by all the nuns, and then the Mother Superior gives her away.
It's a beautiful little wedding.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah. You get to see the captain in his epaulets.
Yes, and then there's like then somebody in robes marries them. I don't.
Yeah, it's not the Pope, but
but somebody outranking Mother Superior. He has his +5 bonnet of something.
Holiness.
Yeah. And there's lots of bending and stooping. It's a Catholic wedding. And then they go off on honeymoon.
Yes, for a whole month. And we
just enough time for
the Nazis to come.
Nazis!
And the Nazis come. We get our first view of the swastika.
Yeah, Anschluss happens. And what's this scene?
We get and now we're really rolling into the Heil Hitlers. By the end of the scene, we're up to the Heil Hitler number 6.
I've started to quickly realize why there isn't a Sound of Music Junior.
Yeah.
I can't imagine people parading their children around.
Oh my god! Fucking little Gretel was like, maybe the flag with the big black spider on it makes people nervous, and I was like, yeah, Gretel,
honey,
maybe.
Yeah, you have no fucking idea. Me too. Yeah, there's Nazis. Anschluss has happened, and Uncle Max has put them in the festival anyway.
Yes.
Because Gregor's not around, so...
Now we see that Rolf is an actual brown shirt. Rolf brings a thing, and he is in full-on Heil Hitler mode. He's wearing the Nazi youth brown shirt. Like, bad news bears, man. Rolf is now a full-on Nazi.
He's in deep. He was a young man that was... brought into a very extremist line of thinking by people who told him that they could make the world a better place if we just, mistreated out groups.
Huh. Wild.
I don't have a ton of notes here because I was really paying attention. So there is this realization from Liesel that, Rolf's in deep.
Yeah.
And so there's a 16 going on 17 reprise with Julie Andrews and Liesel, and I liked that. That was good.
Yeah, because she's like, you are 16 going on 17. Give it a year or two.
And I was like, oh my god, good job, Mom. Good job. And they're calling her mother, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so sweet.
We find out that the reason that Von Trapp is getting ready to leave is...
He gets a telegram. Liesel gives him the telegram from Rolf.
Yes, because he's being basically press-ganged back into the service by the Nazis to go serve as the captain of a Nazi ship.
Yeah, and he is like, fuck the Nazis. So they're like, okay, we're going to sneak out. And that fails.
And we get a big nationalist speech from the captain. And I'm like, generally, I'm not a big fan of nationalism, but when it's used to fight the Nazis, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's almost, because there's so much... that part of Europe, that history of this country being part of that, and Austria being part of Austro-Hungary, and all of that history, it's kind of like, I think for him it's about maintaining cultural identity.
Right.
It's not Austria the flag. Yes, the flag is a thing, but it's a symbol of him being an Austrian person.
Right.
And he's like, I'm not going to be forced to be German. I'm not German. I'm not going to be forced to be part of this political organization I don't agree with that's doing things that I don't think are moral. Like, it's nationalistic, but it feels like it's very much in defiance of fascism.
Yeah.
And not just its own kind.
Right.
The Nazis show up at the house. He comes home to find a swastika displayed above his door. But he's taken it down at this point. He tears it down immediately. Finds out they're going to be...
And the butler sees him, tears it down, and it's just like...
And then the butler sees them trying to sneak out.
Yeah, so they decide to sneak out, and they try to push the car.
We're not going to go to the festival, we're going to leave.
Yeah, they try to push the car outside of the gate so that they can start the car outside of the gate and not wake up anybody in the house. The butler sees them
But I don't know if the butler has time to tip anybody
Yeah,
off.
no, because
it's a red herring. You're like, oh, the butler's gonna tell. And then they get outside the gate.
Yeah, they get outside the gate, and the Nazis are waiting for them.
Yeah, because they're gonna take him away right then and there. And he's like, oh, we couldn't get our car to start. And they're like, this would be great. I want the Nazis to have Nazi voices, but they're British! It upsets me! Because this would be the perfect time for someone to be like, help him start his car. Would you go fix this for me, please? Hans, go turn over the motor. No, he's British. The bad guy is bad guying, though. And they're like, oh yeah, we were totally going to the concert tonight. We're performing. Here we are, the Von Trapp family singers. And he's like,
the children are listed, but I do not see you.
I
am the head of the Von Trapp family.
And so they're gonna go perform, and like basically he's like, okay, when you're done, we're just gonna fucking ship you off, and you're gonna be a Nazi ship captain now. And he's like, fuck. So they go and they perform, and they did reprises of things we've already heard. There's no new music for this.
Yeah, they do Do Re Mi, and I think they do Edelweiss, and then they do So Long Farewell.
So yeah, and it's like
Edelweiss, he leads the entire stadium in Edelweiss, and
it's like a protest song.
Yeah, this big protest song, nationalistic moment.
Which is so ironic that the Austrian audience did enjoy this. I'm like, maybe this is, I don't know.
And then after they sing So Long Farewell, Avida saying goodbye, they dip.
Yeah, they run away. So
they
like
won the contest.
They won the contest, so they're like waiting to announce everybody, and like I think the third place person won't stop bowing. It's quite entertaining, actually. They like have to escort her off, and then like quintet wins, and they're like the Von Trapp family Von Trapp, and they're like not there. And the Nazis are like, shit, go get him. And it's the Nazi
and then
chase.
we have a musical with a car chase in it.
Oh my god! And then I don't have any more notes after this because I was actively watching the last like 15 minutes.
So like they get to the convent.
Yeah, they run
the Nazis
convent.
See the Nazis come up to the convent, and the Von Trapps are hiding there. They go.
The nuns are in cahoots. They're like, be slow to open the door.
Yeah, and so they're hiding. They hide them in the graveyard behind the graves, and they do it fine until
the Nazis don't see them, except
Rolf hears one of them
little shitheel
cough or something.
He hangs out and waits, and then Von Trapp comes from behind him. He goes, "Oh fuck!" And there's this like thing where like Von Trapp is like walking. Gives him
the don't be a Nazi speech.
Don't do this. Don't be a Nazi. You're not like them. You're not one of them. Come with us. Just leave. And he takes the gun out of his hand, and he looks at him and goes, "You're never going to be one of them." And then he blows his whistle, little shithead. And so they go run, and they're running to the car. This is the caretaker's car they have to take, right?
Yeah, and
they get to the caretaker's car, and they drive off, and the Nazis run into their cars like little clowns.
And then you hear and you see, and we took the fucking head of novices, who's supposed to be this like
the two nuns that were fighting earlier about Maria are
she goes to Mother Superior and is like, "Mother, forgive me, for I have sinned,
and I have also sinned."
Well, what did you do? And they hold up the car parts. They hold up the distributor caps from the cars.
Mm-hmm. It's really great. Mother Superior also mentions before, like, when they're hiding them behind the graves, that, like, they've closed the border from Austria to Switzerland. She's been listening on the wires. So they wouldn't have been able to drive across the border anyways.
The interesting thing is in real life, when the Von Trapps left
they just took Austria, a train, right?
Yeah, they took a train to Italy.
Because he was able to get citizenship there.
Yeah, but the reason that really did happen, the day after they left, they closed the borders.
Damn, they got out just in time. But yeah, he was able to get citizenship in Italy, and then he was able to get a passport to the U.S. because of his Italian citizenship. Via the U.K. It was really convoluted how they got to America.
Well, I mean, there wasn't any air travel back then, so they probably traveled from Italy to the UK and got a visa to the US.
But they were able to get to the US. But
there's photos of them singing on the BBC while they were in the UK.
Oh wow, we didn't even watch any of the Von Trapp actually singing. But I will say they drive. So to end of the story, they drive into the Alps, and the last shots we see are them walking across the Alps into Switzerland.
Yeah,
that's the end of the show. So Climb Every Mountain was very, very
literal.
Excuse me. Like the hiccups and a burp at the same time.
It's called the hickey burp.
Hickey burp. That sounds like a Rodgers and Hammerstein throwaway song. That's fine. We're ready to go.
Let's go to the hickey burp.
The hickey burp. The doohickey burp.
I love the hickey burp. The hickey burp is for me.
So yeah, that was The Sound of Music. It's long.
It is long.
It's long.
Most musicals are long, though.
I will say, it's very well paced. There's never a point where I'm like...
There's never a dull moment.
It's not like a dull moment, but like, there's never a moment like a Shapoopy moment or a Clambake moment where you're like, oh, this is long and distracting and needless. I would say the closest thing to that would be the dance, the party they throw. But even during the party, we're establishing important plot in the party.
Yeah.
That's when the Nazis are talking and blah, blah, blah. Like,
the only genuine non-plot song is the goat herd. And it's impressive enough to
yeah, it's musically impressive, and it's diegetic. It's part of what the characters are actually doing, which I'm willing to forgive. So there's no real glaring like moments where it slows down. And the pacing between the first act and the second act is very good. Because I feel like a lot of these musicals blow their wad in the first half, and then the second half is tying up loose ends. And it feels like they put all their plot in the very beginning, and then the back half doesn't have a lot of plot. But there's a lot of plot in the front and the back of this musical. I'm sitting here going, how much is left? And it's still actively plotting, and there's like 15 minutes left. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was very engaged the entire time I watched it.
Yeah.
Any other comments about the production of it, or?
I mean, not really. It was a pretty straightforward production. Most of the interesting notes that I found were mostly about how much Christopher Plummer didn't want to be there.
I know.
He was drunk during the music. He was drunk during the entire musical festival scene.
Just on stage, like swaying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every morning, greet me on white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me.
Okay, so...
Flower of snow made to bloom and grow.
Do you actually know all the words to this?
Bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, blessed my homeland forever.
I was looking at our categories that we've been using to rank musicals. So we have singing and acting, set design, costuming, musical composition, and we last episode, one before, we added choreography as an actual category to consider. Yes. I think we should add another one.
What's that?
Plot.
The plot?
Yeah. We don't judge. We've been taking the plot into consideration for our overall rankings, but we have yet to rate the plot just outright. Like, is the story any good?
Okay.
Is that a fair thing?
Sure, I like that.
Okay, cool. So add a plot category. I'm just so you all know, while Austen is singing, I'm moving our chart over and making more space so we can rate.
Does that mean I can sing some more?
Yeah, if you would.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
There's only so much we can do for fair use.
Whatever floats your boat, honey. Okay, so I'm gonna...
Although this is for review purposes, which I think really broadens your
definition there?
Your abilities to material from this thing.
Okay, Sound of Music will be the first one on the row. Sound of Music. Okay, so did the musical pass the Bechdel test?
Yes, instantly.
Yes, instant Bechdel pass, for sure. Who would you want to play in the musical?
As far as singing, I could easily sing Von Trapp. I could easily do Von Trapp.
Yeah.
Really, the only characters of note are the Von Trapps.
Yeah.
No one else sings.
Except for Maria. It's very limited. One of the nuns.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've always wanted to play a nun. I could play a nun.
I don't know. I don't think I have it in me. I don't think I'm a Maria Von Trapp.
No.
I'm not. I'm not a manic pixie dream nun. I probably would be one of the nuns.
Yeah.
Maybe the Contessa.
I could see you doing that.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame to have you in a non-singing role, though.
Well, she has songs. They were cut for the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, she and Max there are 2 songs with the Contessa and Max that are cut for the film. But I don't know, this is one I have no problem watching, but I probably would not be cast in The Sound of Music.
No.
I don't think I would be. Okay, so Standout Extra Award.
I mean, not an extra, but if we're going for side character, fucking Gretel's amazing.
It was pretty awesome. You know, there's not really many standout side characters.
No. There's so many extras in this that they didn't reuse any of them. It wasn't like your standard chorus thing.
Yeah. Oh, you know who we should give the standout extra award to?
There were 4,300 extras.
You know who we should give it to by default? The real Maria von Trapp.
Oh, sure.
And I don't even remember what she looked like in the movie itself, but she wins it by default because it's literally her story that's been bastardized for film. So, yeah. Okay, favorite musical number?
My favorite musical number in this... I love Edelweiss. I really do. But my favorite musical moment in this is probably that first Hills Are Alive. Because it just comes in so hot, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. So, like, it's interesting because I don't think there's a bad song in this musical.
But there's also not necessarily one stand out.
Yeah, there's not one where I'm like, holy shit, that's the one. You know, I'm kind of like, everything's solid. Let me see. I would say my favorite is the Hills reprise where the kids sing and Von Trapp comes in and sings. I think that's really, like, not even, like, I don't want to say, like, musically, because, like, the goat song is really impressive from a vocal standpoint, and, like, the nuns have some cool stuff they do, like, and Julie Andrews is just amazing in everything she's in, but that scene...
She has perfect pitch.
Yes, I did see that. She has perfect pitch. That scene in particular just feels very special, and I feel like that's where we finally see the heart of the film, and where he starts to turn. I think that it's a really good scene. I think if I had to pick a favorite song, I guess The Sound of Music, probably. I don't want it to be Do Re Mi.
I mean...
But that number's really good. And the thing is, I don't think I would ever put anything on from the soundtrack and live it, actually. No. I don't think I would. And that's the thing. It's a really good musical, but it's not like other movies or musicals where I'm like, oh yeah, I totally put that song on and listen to it. I don't think I would really actively listen to any from this. Just because I wanted to, you know? I'm going to kind of give the track list a look real quick just to make sure I'm not... Yeah, nothing is bad, but there's not like a song where this is the banger. There's no real banger.
There's not a single.
Yeah, there's not a single. It's a solid album you listen to one time, start to finish. So yeah, I would say probably the reprise of Sound of Music is my favorite moment in the musical from a singing standpoint. And I also like the 16 going on 17 reprise. So I like that they reused a song in a new context. I thought that was very smart from a storytelling standpoint. Okay, what else are we looking at here? I lost my list of things we ask. Okay, final thoughts.
I think that this is, of all of the canon of Rodgers and Hammerstein, this is usually top three. The top three are all, like, no one ever argues what the top three Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals are. They are The King and I, Carousel, and The Sound of Music. A lot of people bounce around as to which one they want to be number, like, where those are. I would probably put this at my second or first favorite Rodgers and Hammerstein. And it's a fantastic musical. It's solid. The pacing, like you said, is fantastic. The costuming
story is good.
The costuming is really, really solid. The kids are great.
Yeah.
There's really not a weak spot for this musical. If there is one, it's that there isn't a standout.
Yeah, and the lack of German.
Well, that's something that you care about. I don't.
Yeah, there really isn't anything bad about it. I just don't know that I'd watch it again. Isn't that terrible?
No.
It's really good, but
it's one of those movies that you watch like once a year. Some people do, but it's not something that you're just going to watch over and over and over again. Would you say the same thing about The Music Man?
I watched 2 versions of The Music Man already.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and I said I would watch Hugh Jackman play The Music Man. I was like, I would be down to see someone else play that. I don't think there's another person who could play Maria von Trapp.
No.
I've seen it. That is the best version anyone's ever going to do of that role. Yeah, it's really good. And knowing that it's one of the best musicals of all time, it highlights for me why I'm not a musical person.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm like, well, this is really solid, and I'm probably not going to be singing along to all the songs. Although I have been humming them for the past couple of days because they've been stuck in my head. Yeah, okay, so how would you rank we're going to do the rankings now officially. The singing. How would you rank the singing in the movie?
The singing. There's not a thing wrong with any of the singing in this.
Nope.
I would put this at a 9 at the lowest.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 because they overdub Christopher Plummer.
Okay.
I think listening to Christopher Plummer's actual singing, it sounds more like a guy who's from the military and hasn't sung in 10 years because his wife died than Bill Lee's dub. So I'm going to give it a 9. What are you going to give it, babe?
I put it at a 9 as well.
Okay. All right. The acting.
There's nothing wrong with the acting in this.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah.
I don't know what gets a 10. I haven't seen a 10 yet, but
Chicago might be a 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9. Like, it's very good acting. Set design.
Give it a 9.
Yeah.
It's filmed on location in Salzburg. It's gorgeous.
And the castle that the home they live in is beautiful. Like, yeah. And then, the set, like, where they perform the festival is so stark and brutalist.
Yeah.
And it's such great visual storytelling.
Yeah, to have all the Nazis there.
Yeah. So yeah, 9 for me too. Yeah. Costuming.
This one is not as high for me.
It's competent, but there's nothing super complicated or exciting.
I'll give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I gotta dock it somewhere.
Yeah, like, it's just nothing really slaps you in the face except for Maria von Trapp's wedding dress is really, really pretty. Other than that, it's just tweed. I think everything in this musical is tweed.
Yeah. Okay, music composition.
It's great.
Yeah.
Let's say 9.
We gave the Music Man 9s.
Yeah. I'll give it an 8.5. It wasn't as creative as the Music Man was.
I mean, the Do Re Mi song is very creative, but, like, there are definitely some, like, the What Are We Gonna Do About Maria songs. Okay. 16 Going on 17's
There was a lot of there was a lot of reprise in this, and not a lot of original songs.
I don't hate the reprise.
It's just that there's reprises of three different songs, and one song reprises 3 times.
I think too that it had something to do with, like, they were limited as to how many new things they could add because of how Rodgers and Hammerstein wrote it. Because I believe, I don't know which one of the two passed away.
It was,
was it Oscar?
It was, Richards, I think.
Richard Rodgers? His first name Richard?
Richard Rodgers.
Okay, and Oscar Hammerstein.
Yeah, I believe Richard Rodgers passed
one of the two of them passed away.
After this was produced.
Also, it's kind of interesting because, like, there were 4 people working on the music for this.
Yeah. Like,
there were 2 people who had already been working on it, and they sought out Rodgers and Hammerstein to fill it out because it was an adaptation of a German film about the Von Trapps. So, I think I'm going to give it an 8. There's not a song in it, let me look. What if I given everything else? I give Carousel an 8. I gave Oklahoma 7. I gave Oklahoma a 4. I hated that one. And Guys and Dolls a 4. Like, I gave The Music Man a 9. I worry that I gave Music Man a 9, and I'm still mad about Shapoopy, like, a whole other musical later. Because this one didn't have Shapoopy, and I appreciated that I could just watch it and not be yanked out of it. And I almost want to go back and dock The Music Man for Shapoopy.
Well, I don't think it's worth docking it because the rest of the songs in there were so innovative.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I'm going to go with an 8 for Sound of Music. I think everything was competently done, but nothing was really exciting. And you're giving it what?
I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
And a half.
8.5. Okay. Choreography. There wasn't a ton of dancing.
No, there really wasn't.
What was done was competent.
Yeah, it's a 7.5. It's not a dancing show.
Yeah. What did I give it, man, for choreography? Oh, I didn't even rank the 2003 version. I gave it a 4. Jeez. What'd you give it for choreography?
I'd give a 6.
I think a 6 is reasonable. Yeah.
It's not a choreography heavy movie.
What was done was good.
Yeah.
Plot.
I don't know how to rank a plot.
Did you find the plot interesting? Were there plot holes? Was it well written?
I knew the plot going in. It's so known to me that it's almost kind of hard to...
Objectively standing back, though, is it a good plot?
Yeah, it's a great plot. Yeah, it's
an interesting
plot.
I
like it.
Yeah.
Well, fuck the Nazis. I love anything that's...
How would you rank the plot, then?
Rock, paper, scissors. Whoever goes first has to rank the plot first.
No, I'll rank it first. I like the reasonable love triangle. I think that their falling in love is very realistic. There's one scene where he says, like, I fell in love with you, sat on the pine cone, and I was like, that's so real. And she said it was when you blew that stupid whistle, and I was like, that's very real. You know, like, because I think back to, like, when I met you, and you wouldn't shut the fuck up in history class in college.
And I would sing Irish drinking songs at you.
Yeah, like, so I was like, yeah, that's very real. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'll give it a 7 too.
Yeah. It's a solid plot. There's nothing, like, super exciting or, you know, like, oh, what a twist, or, you know, it's a solid plot. I wanted to know what was going on the whole time. It was paced well. But nothing, like, super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Except there's the Nazi chase scene, but...
I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think my only issue is that it's kind of a small-scale story.
Yeah.
Within the backdrop of a huge story.
Right.
Which I think that's a lot of stories, but...
I mean, I think that's most of the stories about World War II, unless you're doing a musical about the war itself.
Yeah.
Because all the best stories about World War II are about the individuals who were in its humanity.
Should I give it an 8? Now I'm 8. Now I'm going back. I'm going to stick with a 7. Because we did not rank plot on The Music Man. I probably would have given The Music Man an 8. Okay. Because I thought that plot was a little more interesting. I was like, what the fuck's going to happen with this one? I'm like, if he goes to the Nazis, I'm turning it off. That's basically what I felt like the whole time. I'm like, if they get caught by the Nazis...
I'm still waiting for the time that we get to a musical where Elle does turn it off.
It hasn't happened yet. I mean, there were moments during Guys and Dolls where I wanted to turn it off. But
and Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, I even wanted to know what was going to happen. I was just like, all right, I want to see this shit through. And the weird ballet, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down. Okay, so what is your overall ranking?
This one's got to be high. I want to give it like a 9.
I'm torn because,
Of course you are. You're always torn.
Yes, you're giving it a 9.
You think so hard about these numbers.
I do. We talk about them, like, in between episodes. I'll be like, I have to rethink this. My concern is that if I give it a 9, like, how do you top it? It's got to be a 10. And how many 10s are there?
You don't have to. You could be a 9.5. Could be a 9.6. Could be a 9.65.
I'm like, is an 8.5 more reasonable?
No, I think a 9 is reasonable. This is The Sound of Music. It's literally the
most
most successful movie musical
ever made. I'm
gonna give
it a 9. I'm sure, I'm sure some real fucking weird, obscure shit's gonna get a 10 for me. Or like an opera.
Like 6, the musical. You probably would like 6, actually.
I think I've listened to some of the soundtrack. I find it interesting that each of the wives...
It's the Merry Wives of Windsor.
Basically. Yeah, each of the wives is based on a different pop star, which I found interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. It's really good. I
really want to see Assassins.
Not on our list.
No, it's on 9. It's a little later.
What's on our list next?
So we can do The King and I, or...
Is South Pacific on it? I have no idea what the fuck that's about. Probably about World War II.
Yeah, it's about World War II. South Pacific is on there as a maybe.
Well, we've said it. Now we have to do it.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
Oh, we should just get that piece of shit out of the way. What else is on the list? Brigadoon.
Would you rather do Brigadoon?
Singing in the Rain's on the list.
You want to do Singing in the Rain?
What would you rather do? You picked The Sound of Music, though, so I have to pick one.
I did, yeah.
You know what? There have been too many good musicals in a row. We're doing 7 Brides.
Okay.
I have to be reminded why I hate this shit. We're doing 7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
Okay, next up, we have 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I know nothing about it. I've never seen this one,
Oh my god, you've never seen it? It is a piece of shit.
My dad's been in this one twice. We'll see.
Sorry, Mark. It's not that you're bad. Just you can't choose what people put on. You just audition for things and you're very talented.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Have a good one.